Hello YouTube, I hadn't done one of these in a while, but because there's a new episode of the Natty or Not series that is coming next week, I just wanted to continue this one so that I can refresh this channel's memory and kickstart this type of discussion again. So I'm going to give you today another pointer that is going to help you know whether or not someone who is dishing out advice might or might not be on PEDs. I like to give these out, one for discussion because they're interesting, and two because I find that calling out people, individuals, especially with the way YouTube fitness is now, is not doing anything. It just creates drama and circles of response videos that lead nowhere and are just usually for profit. I would much rather give you concepts that are going to help you across the board determine whether or not someone is lying about their national status. So today we're going to talk about the skeletal structure and what the PED usually does to it. If you know about GH and that type of substance, you know that they can have an impact on your frame even past puberty. So for example, some people who take those products reveal that their wrists, their ankles, their knees grow with their habit of taking the product, and that certain things like their hands, feet, and nose also grow exponentially more. And what's so interesting about it is that what I personally noticed is that outside of GH, there are even substances that are strictly anabolic, but also are going to have a very interesting impact on the face. And there's not really a way to hide it. There's the famous moon face, of course, which happens when you bloat, when your estrogen gets too high, and you end up retaining a lot of fat and water, which gives you that round face. That's a dead giveaway for a lot of parts. But what I want to talk about is more the masculinization of the human face that happens when you take androgynous hormones. What tends to happen for these people is that their heads get much more square in a way, meaning that because the muscles of the jaw develops through the intake of those exogenous hormones, it gives a much more masculine and even animalistic look to the face, where everything seems to square up, right? People who tend to have longer faces, their faces look much fuller, the muscles of the jaw look much bigger, and also it goes with the fact that the neck blows up and everything with it, so it sort of goes together with the body becoming bigger, right? Because it would look strange if those roided up guys who are like 250 to 60 had massive upper bodies and tiny heads. Usually their heads blows up as well, it grows. And you can also see that in the cranium. It's a side effect that I've noticed a ton, where these guys will have very developed sides of the cranium, where it will even start bulging to the side and you will see it in their forehead. It's tough to explain until you see it, and then you know what I mean. Some men are born with it. There are men who are born with that. It's not a scientific term, but some people call it the warrior skull, which usually means that you have a jaw that is just as big as your cranium, or even bigger. So it gives that massive look. And the opposite of that is men who have a much bigger cranium than lower jaw, which some call the wimp skull. It's interesting to see that even though you can be born with one or the other, you can transition into a warrior skull if you take products. And it's also interesting to see that that can be lost. There are tons of examples out there, but the most famous people on YouTube Fitness, the type of people who lie about their use, it's a good way to pinpoint it, because you will see that during the period of time where they make gains out of nowhere, their faces change. The face looks much broader, it suddenly looks fuller, and then when they stop, it regresses back, it shrinks back, just like their body does. It goes hand in hand. So, for example, if someone never had that type of facial structure, and then all of a sudden they do, and it coincides with them suddenly making rapid strength or size gains, that's a dead giveaway, in my opinion, that they're taking products. Of course, a guy who's always had that facial structure might see an increase in that look as time goes by because they were predisposed to looking like this. And someone who didn't have that but is improving their hormonal profile might slowly but surely start seeing a more cut jawline and more of a masculine face show up, but it's going to take years and years and years. It's not something that just happens. Some people never grow out of their baby face, but I personally had a baby face for a long time, and it gets better. Like you're with age and with the testosterone increasing and the muscle mass increasing, it's naturally slowly increasing. But when you take PEDs, of course, it's almost immediate. The impact and the look is something that can change within months. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys. It's one of the few details and indications that I've personally noticed when I try to spot fake naturals. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good day.